Hey, good evening. Let's hear it for Connor Gardner. Please, Connor. Can please be seated. Thank you. So good afternoon. My name is Brendan Gill, and I have the honor to be the president of the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders. And today I am honored to welcome you to the board's annual Salute to the Irish. I want to acknowledge, I know they're going to be acknowledged again later on in the program, but I want to acknowledge the freeholders who are here with us. My co-host this evening, freeholder Len Luciano. Freeholder at large, Patricia Siebold. Freeholder Romaine Graham. And last but certainly not least, freeholder Carlos Palmares. I know we have other elected officials who are here who we will acknowledge shortly later in the program. This is a celebration that we look forward to each year because it gives us an opportunity to commemorate the rich tradition of our Irish heritage and for the opportunity to wear our Irish pride on our sleeves. As we do each year, we will honor Essex County's three great St. Patrick's Day parade, the Nutley, Newark, and West Orange Parade, as well as their parade committees, chairs, grand marshals, deputy grand marshals, and special honorees. These are the people who have worked hard all year long to keep our Irish traditions alive with an exhilarating display of green on parade day. For that, we are grateful for your efforts, and it truly warms our hearts. So let's give everyone a round of applause. For that. And I just wanted to say I'm, again, honored to be here with you today to keep this tradition going, to be a small part each and every year of each of these parades, their committees. There's many great friends in this room. And as a person of Irish descent, I couldn't be happier to be standing here with you today. So at this point, to begin this evening's celebration, I'd like to invite Reverend Paul Donahue from St. Lucy's Church to deliver the opening prayer. Reverend Donahue. Thank you.
We bow our heads in prayer, seeking God's blessing as we salute the Irish, whose service have contributed to the building up of a diverse community in beautiful Essex County. These honorees have carried out deeds well done, or as the Irish would say, on behalf of God, St. Patrick, and country. May their deeds inspire their children to carry forward their efforts. In each of us exists the magic that can renew our communities rather than divide us. Lord, unlock our potentials. Aaron Gobra, may I have an amen? Amen. And I thought I would tell you a little bit of history. Pat and Kate Ryan are driving through County Kerry, and Kate is driving, and the guard stopped her. She rolls down the window, and the guard comes over and says, "Do you know you were speeding?" Kate looks at Pat and says, "What did he say?" Pat looks at Kate and says, "You were speeding." And then the guard just says, "May I have your driver's license and registration?" Kate looks at Pat. "What did he say?" Cat yells back, "Your driver's license and registration." Gives it to him. He looks at it. So you're from Kerry, are you? You know, I was stationed in Kerry once. I had the worst date of my life there. Kate looks at Pat. "What did he say?" And Pat looks back and says, "He thinks he knows you."
Another round of applause for It's now my pleasure to welcome a very talented singer who has year after year been so kind to grace our celebration each and every year. And I'd ask for you to please stand for a musical rendition of the Irish anthem, A Soldier's Song. After the conclusion of that, to please remain standing for the national anthem of the United States and our Star Spangled Banner, which will be performed by Carolyn Volpe Curley. Carolyn, so thank you so much.
Please join me in singing our Irish anthem. I'll sing you a song, a soldier's song, with cheering, rousing chorus. As round the blazing fire we throng, the starry heavens o'er us, impatient for the coming fight. And as we wait the morning light, here in the silence of the night, we'll chant a soldier's song. Soldiers are we, whose lives are pledged to Ireland. Some have come from a land beyond the waves, sworn to be free. No more our ancient sireland shall shelter the despot or the slave. Tonight we'll man the barn a wail, in Erin's cause come woe or wail, mid cannons roar and rifles peal, we'll chant a soldier's song. Please join me in singing our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home
Let's give it up for Miss Carolyn Curley one more time. Thank you, Carolyn. So good evening, everyone. I'm Len Luciano, and I'm proud to be here tonight co-sponsoring this event with my colleague, Freeholder President Brendan Gill. Believe it or not, this is the 9th year that Freeholder President Brendan Gill and I have co-sponsored this event. And, you know, we love the nuts and bolts of being freeholders and county legislators and the regular business day in and day out. But it's really fantastic to honor different organizations, heritage, ethnicity, religion, and honoring different students, of course. So this is what really makes our job enjoyable, and we just want to thank everyone for being here tonight, even though this is not on a regularly scheduled meeting night. Usually our events are. So I know that everyone who's here tonight really made a special effort to come out, and I wanted to say thank you before I forgot that. I'm going to introduce my colleagues again, and some that are here that just walked in. But before I do, just really quickly, you know, I've been honored to be part of this celebration because I'm a mixed ethnicity, being half Italian and half Irish. I know if you read my name, you'd think that I'd belong up here in October for Columbus Day, but I can assure you my mother's sitting in the back, and she'll tell you that, you know, look at my fair skin complexion, and, you know, she raised me pretty Irish my whole life, and I've enjoyed it. And so I take great pride in the month of March and standing here before you and being of a descendant of County Roscommon. That being said, let me move along. Again, a good shout out to our Freeholder President, Brendan Gill. Our Freeholder colleague over here, District 5 Freeholder Carlos Palmares. A wee bit Irish, he said. Yes, he's done his DNA kit and he had a little Irish in him. He wore his green tie tonight. The longest serving freeholder of all time here in Essex County, who actually has a very Irish first name, Patricia Siebold, Freeholder Siebold. One of the new freeholders that's a pleasure to sit next to, that would be Freeholder at Large Romaine Graham. District Freeholder who we haven't seen yet, who just walked in, please wave to the crowd, District Freeholder Tashami Cooper. And I know he's here. I know he was in his office on a phone call, and he'll be joining us momentarily. But let's give a shout out to our Freeholder Vice President who is here, Wayne Richardson. At this time, you know, and it normally is custom, you know, we have two forms of government, the legislative branch, the freeholders, and the executive, and that is run by our county executive, Joseph DiVincenzo Jr., who happened to be tied up a little bit tonight, and he can't be here, but he sent a representative who he works alongside, who is a great friend to all of us. Please give her a warm welcome, and that is the Assemblywoman from the 29th District, head of the budget in the state of New Jersey, budget chair. That would be Eliana Pinter-Marin. Eliana, please.
So that is not an Irish name, but I haven't done my DNA yet. So I just want to say welcome everyone tonight to Essex County and to the freeholders for putting on a great event. I've attended quite a few of these throughout the years. What's great about these events is that it shows how real diverse Essex County is and how truly it is an honor to embrace all of our diversity. And as the county exec always says, diversity really is our strength in Essex County. I'm a first-generation Portuguese American, so I know exactly where all of you have come from and how important it is to really celebrate our culture, to really express how proud we are to be from where we come from, and how important it is that our children, most importantly, understand where they come from to help them grow and love each other, not by what ethnicity we are, but just by people. So on behalf of the county executive, and before I leave, I just want to say, so I grew up in the Ironbound. I still live there. So I grew up with a lot of O'Neills, the Willis brothers, you name all of them, and that's what's so rich about even a place like Newark, who before the Portuguese settled there was a very Irish American, and how incredible it was that all of us really embraced one another when it came from, due to immigration, because we all came to this country to make sure that our kids have a better life. So on behalf of the county executive and all of us, congratulations to all the honorees, to everyone that participates in the parades and that's honored. Please keep the tradition going. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Father, I have to tell a story. A friend of mine a couple weeks ago called me up and said that his dog had died and he was distraught. So he went to his local parish, Blessed Sacrament in Roseland, and he sat down with the priest and he said, Father, my dog has died. I love my dog more than anyone in the world, more than my kids, more than my wife. I'd like you to bury my dog in this church. And the priest said, we don't bury dogs in churches, we bury people. And my friend said, it would mean the world to me if you'd bury my dog in this church. And the priest said, it's out of the question. No way am I burying your dog in this church. We only bury people. Just not doing it at all. So my friend said, well, can you give me some advice? And the priest said, sure. And my friend said, well, the Greek Orthodox Church around the block, do you think that they'll bury my dog for $15,000? And the priest said, you didn't tell me your dog was Catholic. I'll just say this, an event like this just doesn't happen. It takes a lot of hard work, and I want to thank the men and women of the Essex County Freeholders Office who work so hard to put an event like this together, to put all of the events, the cultural events, celebrating our heritages and cultures, and celebrating the great people of Essex County. I want to congratulate the honorees, the Grand Marshals, the Deputy Grand Marshals, the parade committees, the Newark St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee, the Nutley St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee, and the West Orange St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee for all you do. I mean, the effort is year-round. And what you do is you preserve and celebrate our heritage and cultures, and it's so important that you do. And I was honored by the great Tom Giblin, Mike Byrne as General Chairman in the Newark St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee to be Grand Marshal. And I'll never forget that first step, right? And everyone has that first step. It's on, you're going to have it on Franklin Avenue, on Main Street, on Mulberry Street, and you take that first step and the pride you feel. Your chin is up, the sun is shining upon your face, the wind is at your back, and you can't help but appreciate your ancestors, all of their blood, sweat, and tears that went into preserving the freedoms. And I would just say, please do your best to keep marching and keep freedom alive. And I would just like to recognize a few public servants we have here. We have Councilwoman from Roseland, Eileen Fishman. Let's hear for Eileen Fishman. Assistant County Counsel, helps me with election law, Tom Bachman. Let's hear for Tom Bachman. There he is back there. The manager of the Division of Senior Services in East Orange, Rita Butts. Let's hear for Rita Butts. And we're always safe when we have the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of Essex County, Essex County's prosecutor, Ted Stevens. Let's hear from my friend, Ted Stevens. Thank you, and keep marching. Thank you.
This always makes the staff really happy. I'm going to go a little out of order. Don't kill me. He's also one of our hosts, and again, I want to thank our county clerk, Chris Durkin, for serving as a host of this event each and every year. And I knew between Chris and Father Donahue that I did not have to open with a joke, that I would be covered to start the program. But I wanted our other co-host of this event is no stranger to anyone in the Irish community, or really to anyone in Essex County. He is a person who wears many hats, but currently serves as an assemblyman from the 34th Legislative District, happens to me, hail from my hometown of Montclair, and is with us today. And I wanted to give him an opportunity to say a few words. A great leader in the Irish community, the Honorable Assemblyman Tom Giblin.
Good afternoon, Brendan. Thank you for those kind words of introduction. You know, some years ago when I was a freeholder, I felt it was important because Essex County is so diverse that we take time to honor the various racial and ethnic groups throughout the county. And, you know, we initiated a program, and I think the first one was for St. Patrick's Day, but as was noted, following in that tradition, we incorporated many other celebrations, and that's what it's all about, so we get a sense of appreciation about the contributions of the various ethnic and racial groups here in Essex County, which carries on to our state, into our nation. So there's a lot of work that the parade committees, I know, put into their efforts each and every year. Fundraising is a critical element to really pay for the bands and the printing and all the other expenses involved in the parade, but then even the whole idea of the parade itself in terms of making sure that people come out, civic and social groups and police departments and fire departments, and really all that embodies a community. And I know that the parades, whether it be in Nutley, Newark, or West Orange, I know they take their responsibilities very seriously, and you know they're happy as a lark to see the parade go off on good form and have a beautiful day. And that's my wish to the different folks that are here. So I figured I'd maybe break this up a bit, and I thought about maybe singing a song if people want to listen to me. Okay? Debbie popped it on me when I come in about singing the soldier song, and I was rehearsing thing, and then what happened is the rug got pulled underneath me when Carolyn Curley came on the scene, and I was preempted. But I'll sing a song. It's entitled "The Wild Colonial Boy," and I'll hopefully I can remember all of the words and all those wild colonial boys that are looking at me, see if those words reflect your life. There was a wild colonial boy, Jack Duggan was his name. He was born and reared in Ireland in a place called Castlemaine. He was his father's only son, his mother's pride and joy, and dearly did his parents love the wild colonial boy. At the early age of 16 years, he left his native home, and to Australia's sunny shores he was inclined to roam. He robbed the rich to help the poor. He stabbed James McAvoy. A terror to Australia was the wild colonial boy. One morning on the prairie, as Jackie rode along, he was listening to the mockingbird singing a cheerful song. Out jumped three troopers, brave and strong, Kelly Davis and Fitzroy. Sure, they all set out to capture him, the wild colonial boy. Surrender now, Jack Duggan, 'cause you see you're 3-1. Surrender in the Queen's high name, for you are a plundering son. Jack drew 2 pistols from his side and proudly waved them high. I'll fight, but not surrender, cried the wild colonial boy. Then turning round to Davis, he received a fatal wound. A bullet pierced his proud young heart from the pistol of Fitzroy. And that is how they captured him, the wild colonial boy. Thank you.
Let's give it up again for Tom Giblin. Tom Giblin. Before we begin with our recognition of our honorees tonight, just wanted to also mention that in addition to citations from the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders, we also have citations from State Senator Teresa Ruiz, from United States Senator Cory Booker, from Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill, and from, you gave him a demotion, he's a senator, Senator Robert Menendez, for the honorees as well tonight. So we thank their offices for their participation as well. I'd like to start things off by making the first of the 3 presentations tonight. The 42nd Annual Nutley St. Patrick's Day Parade will be held this Saturday, March 7th. Will the Nutley Parade contingency join us at the podium, please, to receive your commendations? And please help us recognize, I'm going to also ask the president of the Nutley Irish American Association, Tom McHenry, to join us at the podium as well. We have with us our chairwoman, Deirdre Hollywood, thank you, and that's the way it should be. Our Grand Marshal, the Honorable Karen Smith, our Deputy Grand Marshal, Brian Bloom, our Police Officer of the Year, Robert McDermott, our Member of the Year, Dan Kane, and our Parade Queen, Erin Baker. And before we begin, I just wanted to, again, I had the honor of being the Grand Marshal of the Nutley St. Patrick's Day Parade in 2014. And as our County Clerk, Chris Durkin, who looks like he did the Irish goodbye, said, in all seriousness, next to the birth of my 2 children, that was by far one of the greatest days of my life, and one that I will never forget. So I wanted to personally thank you, Tom, and to all the members of the organization for bestowing on me that honor. It will never, ever be forgotten by me or my family, so thank you. With that, I'm going to turn the program over to Freeholder Luciano. Freeholder Luciano.
Thank you, Freeholder Gill. And again, we'll start by congratulating first our Grand Marshal, Karen Smith. Let's give her a round of applause. Our Deputy Grand Marshal, Brian Blum. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Sorry about that. Our Member of the Year, Dan Kane. Dan. Our police officer of the year, I don't think is here, so we'll hold that, but let's give him a round of applause. Robert McDermott. Robert McDermott. Okay. And of course, our parade queen, Erin Baker. Let's give her a round of applause. Congratulations. And lastly, of course, for Deidre Hollywood, who's become a very, very dear friend, for all that you do in keeping this parade alive, and all the great times that you provide, not just the residents of Nutley who come out and the folks that live locally, but to myself, the elected officials, the dignitaries, the different government officials and government agencies. You really keep this alive, and we can't thank you enough. Deidre Hollywood, everybody.
Thank you, Freeholder Luciano. Actually, Deirdre, we're going to ask you to come up first before we get to this year's Grand Marshal to say a few words about the parade, about the effort. And actually, we're really thrilled this year because of the way the calendar worked. We usually have this ceremony after the parade has already happened, so we're even more excited this year to be able to do this and honor you before you march. So Deirdre Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you, Freeholder Gill, Freeholder Luciano. Thank you, Chris Durkin. Thank you, Assemblyman Giblin, for having us each year. This is my 10th year, so I feel like we've kind of gone through this together and we've grown through this program together. I cannot take a quarter of the credit of which should be given to Tom McHenry, our club president. He makes sure that everything goes off without a hitch and makes sure that all the clogs of the clock are moving at the same time and everything happens. It's an honor to be able to bring our dignitaries here each year. And this year I might be a little biased because I'm a little extra excited to have a female Grand Marshal. It's great to have such a strong female lead of the community. And we do invite everyone to our parade this Saturday, March 7th. Mass is at 10 a.m. It's a favorite of Freeholder Luciano and his mom's. It's a beautiful, beautiful Mass. We invite you all to join us there and to march along with us 1 p.m. on Franklin Avenue. Thank you.
So I'm not surprised to hear Freeholder Luciano makes it to Mass. He oftentimes has a lot, I'm sure, to talk about. Yeah, exactly. So thank you, Deirdre. Finally, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the 2020 Grand Marshal of the Nutley St. Patrick's Day Parade, the Honorable Karen Smith. Thank you. We'd like to share a few highlights from the commendation that you're receiving tonight. The Honorable Karen Smith is proud of her family's Irish heritage and public service careers. While recently retired after 28 years as Belleville's chief judge, she previously served as a prosecutor and assistant town attorney, blood warrant, and domestic violence judge. She also maintained a private law practice serving the Nutley and Belleville communities. During her younger years, Judge Smith spent a considerable amount of time fighting for equal rights in sports, including marches in Washington and serving on Title IX committees. In 1987, she was asked to join a delegation of women trial attorneys to the Soviet Union in advance of the Reagan Summit. Judge Smith's father was born in Ireland and came to the United States through Ellis Island as a child, settling in Newark. She gives homage to her late parents and big sister Linda, who inspired her. She proudly will have her little brother Kevin. Is he known as a little brother? Good. Okay. A retired Belleville police lieutenant stand next to her this parade season, along with her 90-year-old Aunt Marion. So, Judge Smith, it gives me a great pleasure to present you with this well-deserved commendation that Freeholder Luciano already presented to you as the Grand Marshal of the 2020 Nutley St. Patrick's Day Parade. Congratulations.
Thank you. It has been an amazing experience, as I'm sure all the other dignitaries know as well. You start out about 6 months ago, and you think, oh, there's not so much to do. I'm exhausted, and we haven't gotten to the parade yet. There have been so many wonderful events, from the dinners, the meetings, the gala, the fundraiser, the pub tour. The first time I was ever able to go, since when I was on the bench, I wasn't allowed. It was fun, and still recovering. This has been such a wonderful experience, but as each of my dignitaries knows, it's not just such a wonderful experience for us, it is just fabulous for our families. You get your entire family together. We have groups of 30, 60, all marching with us for the family to be together, to teach the younger ones about their Irish history, since it's so easy to forget during their video games, and to really get that sense of our community. I'm so grateful to the Freeholder President and the Freeholders here for making this event to include us, and then certainly I am so grateful to the Nutley Irish who have made this such a wonderful journey. I hope you'll continue our journey with us, and see you on the 7th, and every day I check, it is getting 1 degree warmer, so keep those fingers crossed. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. As they take their seats, please join me in another round of applause for the Nutley St. Patrick's Day Parade contingent. And we're looking forward to potentially some warm weather this year for the, for the parade. Do we have to move this? So each year when we host this event, one of the things we look forward to is the great performance from the Denoglia School of Irish Dance. Please join me in welcoming them. Thanks.
give it up for our dancers one more time. We are really lucky to have them every year, and we want to say thank you for taking time out of your schedule. So again, I am Len Luciano, co-host of this event. Thank you for everyone for being here. I mentioned him. He just walked in, so you know him by his face. Let's give him another round of applause. The Freeholder Vice President, Wayne Richardson, is now here. Wayne. So we are now moving along to our West Orange St. Patrick's Parade, which I am proud to say that even as a young man, I spent many parades on the corner of Main Street with my mother, and my late grandmother, unfortunately, who's no longer with us. And I look forward to that parade every year. This is the 69th annual West Orange St. Patrick's Parade, and that'll be held on Sunday, March 15th. Let's hope the weather is great. I know that it's always very spirited and very well attended. And we know that it's going to be the same way this year. So at this time, let me bring up our West Orange Parade contingent. Can you guys please come up? Parade Chair Kevin Brennan. Grand Marshal Mellon Dangler. Deputy Grand Marshals John DeMars, Pat Giblin, the Honorable Pat Giblin, Bobby Lamb, and Robert Swenson. Let's give it up for everybody, please. You want to continue on? All right, Freeholder Gill, we're going to, again, continue to move on, be conscientious of the time, but we appreciate you all being here. Let's first start by giving our Honorable Grand Marshal here, Mellon Dangler. Congratulations to you. Let's give it up again. Yep. Deputy Grand Marshal John DeMars. Congratulations to you. All right, Honorable Pat Giblin. Okay, longtime friend of mine, Bobby Lamb. Congratulations. All right, let's see, Robert Swenson. Congratulations, Deputy. And this is who we will be turning over to the committee, again, to designate that Main Street will be on March 15th, Dangler Boulevard. Dangler Boulevard it is, and congratulations to the committee. At this time, again, to move along, we want to, again, congratulate everyone, but we will first start by hearing some remarks from Mr. Kevin Brennan. Kevin.
You all gave a microphone to a Brennan from West Orange. For that, I apologize. Maybe you've read my dad's Facebook postings. Again, I apologize. On behalf of the Deputy Grand Marshals, Grand Marshal, and the Parade Committee, we say thank you to the freeholders. This is a fantastic honor. In particular, President Gill and our co-host tonight, Freeholder Luciano. I'd also like to thank Freeholder Siebold, who had the unfortunate pleasure of teaching my brother Stephen for many years. So thank you for putting up with him. We appreciate it. Our parade's been going on for 69 years. It's a fantastic, beautiful parade. This year we have 5 tremendous Deputy Grand Marshals and Grand Marshal, including the 5th female Grand Marshal in our history, Mellon Dangler. And for that, we're proud. We hope you can join us on March 15th. 12:15 is when we step off at Town Hall. We start the day with Mass at Our Lady of the Valley Church in Orange. Please come out. Hopefully it'll be a beautiful day. Thank you very much. And with that, I can introduce our Grand Marshal for 2020, Mellon Dangler.
I'll be brief. I just want to thank everybody, the freeholders, for hosting this lovely event year after year. And it is just truly important that we do all embrace our heritage, pass it on to our children, and keep marching forward. We hope to see you on the 15th.
So now, last and certainly not least, for the granddaddy of them all, the 85th annual Newark St. Patrick's Day Parade will step off on Friday, March 13th. At this time, I'd like to invite the Newark Parade contingent to join us so we can present you with your commendations. We have our parade chair, John Jack Dahl, with us. Give it a round of applause. Thank you. We have we'll be hearing from just a bit, our Grand Marshal, Michael Byrne. Michael Byrne. Our Deputy Grand Marshal, Eileen McGinley Hannaford. Eileen. So each year,
Sorry,
okay, sure.
We do have one more honoring Frank Coyne, and I just want to hand that off and thank you again for being here.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you. You must have, you beat me to it, you must have somewhere to be. Each year, you're not trying to get to the Seton Hall game, are you?
All the Irish Catholics.
Exactly.
Here. Seton Hall,
Exactly.
Villanova.
Go Hall. Go Hall. What I was going to say, Freeholder Luciano, is that each year the Newark St. Patrick's Day Parade is dedicated to someone special, and this year is no different. However, this year the parade is dedicated to Francis J. Frank Coyne, who recently passed away, but his legacy and memory will live on in our hearts. So I wanted to make special recognition of that. And at this time, I wanted to ask our parade chair, Jack Dahl, to come forward, and also a member of the family to accept this commendation, but also just, if you would like to say a few words, both to our parade chair and to a member of the Coyne family. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you. This is my first year as general chairman. See what happens when you miss a meeting? But seriously, this is our 85th year on the streets of Newark. It is quite an accomplishment, and I can see from my limited experience being a general chairman the amount of work that has gone into our parade, and of course to all the parades that take place not only in Essex County but throughout the state. We're looking forward to a wonderful day in which we recognize our Irish heritage, of course, and the contributions of the Irish to the American experience. It is without question an invaluable contribution, but we also welcome other cultures in that experience with us. That we have a high school band competition with the local high schools from around the city, and we're looking forward to a really great day. We have two tremendous honorees, and our dedication is to Frank Coyne, a gentleman whom I never met, but I've met his family during these proceedings, and if his family is any indication, Frank must have been one heck of a guy. So join us on the 13th of March, Friday. It's an interesting, what do we call it? It's an interesting thing that we have here Friday afternoon. Take half a day, come on down, have some fun with us. And we have Mass at 9:15. I see that most of the other parade committees do the same thing, start with Mass, which is a beautiful thing to do. A parade breakfast right after that, 10:30. And then it's grandstand at 12, and we step off at 1. So we're looking forward to a great day. I look forward to sharing the day with you folks in West Orange and Nutley with the parade committee. And let's just have a phenomenal St. Patrick's season. Thank you.
My father would not want to miss a Villanova-Seton Hall game, so I'll be brief. Thank you, freeholders, so much, and on behalf of my family who's here, we are unbelievably honored. My father lived 3 places, in the Marines in South Carolina, County Galway, Ireland, and Essex County for his entire life. So he lived here, he worked half his life in Newark, so for us to come home to Newark and have this, it couldn't, we're sad to see him go, but this could not be more cyclical, and we are so honored, and thank you, everybody for giving them this honor. We're very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Finally, it gives us great pleasure to introduce our 2020 Grand Marshal of the Newark St. Patrick's Day Parade, Michael Byrne. Michael is a lifelong resident of Montclair. He attended Seton Hall Prep and graduated from Montclair High School. He attended Thomas Aquinas College in California, where he was the manager of the school's Irish Catholic band and graduated in 2004. Michael Byrne is employed in the political field, working for various campaigns and causes across the country. He served as the executive director of the Business Improvement District in historic downtown Gallup. Was it New Jersey? Yeah, New Mexico. Okay, that's what I thought. Gallup, New Mexico. Because I wasn't familiar with the Gallup, New Jersey. He served as the general chairman of the Newark St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee. During that time, with his distinguished leadership, he established the annual Newark St. Patrick's Day Parade High School Band Competition and its art and essay contest for students in the Archdiocese of Newark. He's the founder of Pilgrim Strategies, a political consulting group, and Pilgrim Pruning in Montclair. So hopefully you don't get those clients confused between those two. He's the president of the 100 Club of Montclair, and he's an active member of numerous organizations, including the Thomas Aquinas College Board of Regents, the Montclair Republican Club, and the Friendly Sons of the Shillelagh in West Orange, to name a few. Michael is also a board member of both the St. Patrick's Guard of Honor and the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick of the Oranges, which named him the Young Irishman of the Year in 2014. So therefore, again, it gives us great pleasure, and it's my honor to present you with this well-deserved commendation honoring you as the Grand Marshal of the 2020 Newark St. Patrick's Day Parade. Congratulations, Michael.
Thank you, Freeholder. Thank you all for being here. Congratulations to my fellow honorees. Kevin, I love your father's Facebook posts. They're fantastic. Eileen Hannaford really deserves recognition. She's our Deputy Grand Marshal this year. She's done a tremendous job raising awareness for the parade, getting new groups involved, supporting the Journal and so forth. So just a round of applause for our Deputy Grand Marshal. I want to thank the Freeholder staff, all the Freeholders, of course, and Freeholder staff for putting this together every year. This is my 10th year as well. Deirdre, I did engineer this so that Jack did miss a meeting. So we'll see if there's an 11th year for either of us. But it's been great being here with you here every year. And Brendan, thank you for doing this. Thank you for all your support for the last 10 years. There's been a lot of times I've called upon you, so I appreciate that. We have a great parade coming up here on Friday the 13th. Hope you can join us. It was alluded to already. Mass at 9:15, breakfast at 10:30. We're going to step off at 1 o'clock. We'll have post-parade receptions a couple different places around the city. So really that's what it's all about. It's about the parade, continuing that tradition, keeping it on the streets of Newark more so than about any individual person. So I hope you can all come out and join us. Thanks very much.
Thank you to the Newark Parade. All right, guys. We will see you on the 13th. Again, one more dignitary who just walked in, friend of ours, longtime elected official, former mayor of Montclair, current councilman at large. That would be Bob Russo. Bob, thanks for being here. Let's give all our honorees a round of applause. Thank you all. To all my colleagues, to my partner, Freeholder President Gill, to our staff, thank you for everybody who put this together. And before I bring up Reverend Donahue, who will render a closing prayer and bless us and the food that most of us are about to eat, I want to invite you all down the hall, room 501. We are very gracious to have food, Irish food catered by none only than Michael's Roscommon of Belleville. So we want to thank Frank, the owner of Michael's Roscommon, and please, for another former Grand Marshal who we honored here, a couple of years ago, right? Yep, great guy. We want to bring up our closing prayer, our Reverend Donahue. Thank you.
I thought perhaps you might want a segue to Pat Ryan. He was driving alone from Dundalk to Dublin for a meeting, and he's in Dublin, and he's desperately looking for a parking spot. And so he says, "Oh, good God, if you help me get a parking spot, I'll go to Mass every Sunday and give up my Irish whiskey." Well, miraculously, a spot opens, he sees it, he turns in, he says, "Oh, never mind, I found one." Let us bow our heads. In you, Lord God, all things have their beginning. Grace us with your saving presence as we go forth and return to the tasks that employ our time. Like you, Lord, who came to serve, grant that through our tasks we may love our brothers, love our sisters, and help them in their need. Where charity and love are found, there God is. May God who brought us together walk with us as we leave. May the God of every grace and blessing grant you joy and peace. May God bless our meal. May you rejoice in God's protection, now and forevermore. May I have an amen?
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend. So we welcome everyone down the hall, except for the parade committees. We're going to take group photos with the rest of the freeholders. My colleagues, please stay. We'll try to make this as fast as possible so that we can get to the food, but everyone else is welcome to join us out in the hallway and down the hall. Thank you, everyone.